All right, it is the top of the hour, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join this event today on digital transformation and leveraging Salesforce in the clinical research space. I am Christine King. I'm a sales engineer with CloudBiz, and I'll be your moderator for the event. In this session, we will be discussing how you can leverage cloud technology for digital transformation in the clinical research space. And the point of this session is to share knowledge on some of the trends and challenges in this exciting clinical research and development space. We have an hour together today with time for Q&A at the end, and we'd love to make this interactive. So please put your questions in the Q&A box down below, specifically not the chat box, but the Q&A box. We'd really love to hear from you. And with that, let's get started with the introductions. So like I mentioned, I'm Christine King. I'm a sales engineer at CloudBiz, focused on solving customer challenges with tech solutions. I'm also a registered nurse and spent years in clinical practice, so I have experience with these processes from the user side as well as the tech side, and I'm excited for the session. Today we have Rishabh Mittal and Joshi, who will be the speakers on today's call, and I'll turn it over to them to introduce themselves and get our session started. Joshi?
Thank you so much, Christine. Hello, everyone. My name is Joshi, and I live in Los Angeles, California. Here at CloudBiz, I lead the sales engineering team, where we help our prospective customers with product demos to showcase how technology can help address some of the challenges they are facing in their day-to-day clinical operations. It's my job to listen to customer challenges and demonstrate how cloud technology can help in some of these areas. My background is in healthcare and life sciences technological space. So I have worked with mid to large size sponsors and CROs, as well as mid to large size hospitals, helping them streamline and digitize their operations. I'm honored to be here with you all today, and thank you all for joining. Over to you, Rishabh.
Thanks, Joshi. Hello, everyone. My name is Rishabh. I'm an Associate Director of Clinical Operations here at CloudBiz. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and have about 15 years of healthcare and clinical research experience. I have managed various drug and device studies from startup to close out across various therapeutic areas, and have worked with various hospitals, CROs, and sponsors. In my current role, I help customers to adopt innovative digital technologies and platforms for clinical research, also providing advice on clinical management and clinical operations in general. I'm really excited to be part of this event today. Academically, I am a dentist by training and have done various courses in clinical research here in Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishabh. We will be covering the following topics for you all today. First, we will provide an overview of who we are, followed by a deep dive by Rishabh into some of the trends and challenges in the clinical research space. After this, we will discuss why and how the Salesforce platform can be leveraged in clinical operations and the benefits of it. Followed by this, we have a 20-minute product demonstration for you all, where we will walk you through how some of the industry challenges can be and are being addressed through technology. And lastly, we'll end the session with a 10-minute Q&A question answer interactive session. So who we are and what we've been working on. So we are CloudBiz, and CloudBiz was founded in 2014 and it's headquartered in Chicago. We are focused on providing innovative solutions, clinical solutions on the cloud. We are partners of Salesforce and have built all our solutions on the Salesforce Cloud platform. Our presence is global, with employees in offices all over the world, as well as the organizations and partners we serve spanning across continents. Today, we'll be focusing on the CTMS, eTMF solutions and what challenges they address in the market, but we also are experts in the solution covering the planning, startup, conduct, and closeout of the end-to-end clinical trial. Our team consists of tech experts who design and build our software, as well as a clinical team of subject matter experts in the clinical operations, regulatory, validation, and compliance space. Our clinical team is really heavily involved in the design of these solutions to ensure that we are considering best practices, latest regulations, and market trends in our solution offerings. Our products and solutions are HIPAA, FDA Title 21 Part 11, and GxP compliant. And we as a company are ISO 27001 and ISO 9001 certified. Now that we have introductions out of the way, I'll turn it over to you, Rishabh, to start talking about the trends and challenges we have seen in the clinical research and development space.
Thanks, Joshi. So I'm going to talk about the current global trends and challenges in the clinical research, particularly in reference to the manual processes and how the technology can help eliminate these. And the trend number one we have here is about the study startup and planning and how we adopt a template-based approach. During the study planning and the startup process, the project managers and clinical trial managers spend hours, weeks, and months on manual and repetitive work. Some of this work can be simplified and made more efficient by using digital template-based approach. Now, some could argue that even in conventional way, there are templates that can be used for the studies. But the primary difference is that with digital templates, the information is automatically filled. A basic example is that you must manually enter the study name or protocol number on each and every document, whether it is a monitoring visit template or you are creating a project plan. With technology, what I have done is that I enter the study name and protocol number only once, and any other document that I create, the study number is automatically stamped on all the documents within the CTMS system. Now, let's dive a bit deeper. With technology and automation, I create study and site-specific budget, essential document checklist, standard milestones that are consistent across the studies, all study plans, trip report templates for all the monitoring visits only once. Not only that, I can even templatize the confirmation and follow-up letters, site selection and non-selection letters. And in general, my CRAs and my monitors love this during the conduct of the study. It saves so much time for them. And for the sponsors, it saves time as well as money. Let me give an example. If I am designing a study-specific IMV report template and checklist, I used to use a Word template and then edit and enter the study-specific details based on the protocol. Now, the technology does this job for me. The work that took me a full day now is completed in a few hours. Additionally, now I create the standard study team roles once and then apply the same across the studies and across the documents, be it monitoring visit, be it the delegation of authority log, or when I have to assign the training to a team member based on the training plan and metrics. I also can notify a team member automatically. Example, a CRA, that this training is assigned to you and completed by so and so time. Once it is completed, I also get an automatic notification. Now all this work makes my life so much easier and so much simpler and decreases the entire time that is required in study startup and planning. With this, we can move to the next slide, Christine. Okay. So as we have done all the work for planning that we discussed in slide 1, that can also be applied during the study conduct to increase the efficiency in clinical operations. And that is our trend number 2, how to increase the efficiency in clinical operations. Now, during the study, there are many isolated and disconnected processes that make day-to-day tasks time-consuming and labor-intensive. These repetitive tasks are switching between multiple systems to send emails, creating manual Excel or spreadsheet trackers for reports, and scanning multiple manual logs and then uploading it to the study binders or the electronic trial master file or to your server, whatever the process may be. All this is automated these days. Here in this diagram, we have listed some of the tasks that increase the efficiency and quality of work by many folds. Take an example, Investigator Portal. It is used by the sites, be it investigators or the coordinators, where they submit the essential documents required by the sponsor or the documents that are required for the sponsor TMF. The sites can receive their payments through automated process based on the visit schedule. And some sites that I have worked with, they even maintain the electronic site binder or electronic ISF, eliminating the need for physical binder altogether. The studies that I work on have connected CTMS and eTMF. The documents uploaded in the CTMS are moved directly to eTMF. These systems talk to each other, and there is no manual process of downloading and re-uploading each and every document. Excuse me. Coming to the checklists, all the checklists, whether these are essential document checklists or we have study-specific or site-specific ICF checklists, with technology, I can generate PDFs with a click of a button and then auto-upload in the destination folder of the eTMF. I can also create all the monitoring visit reports and the confirmation and follow-up letters in the CTMS system directly. The CRAs or the monitors send these letters directly to the site, And then the finalized reports or letters are auto-uploaded into the eTMF. My electronic trial master file also has associated reports to see which folders do not have the documents yet. In the past, I had to check each and every folder one by one. So these are all the enhanced eTMF features that we have. There is a massive time saving there. Also, the very important component here, which is mentioned, is delegation of authority log or electronic DOA log, eDOA log, that is mentioned on the top right there. Now, delegation of authority log, the incomplete delegation, I would say, the incomplete delegation of authority log from the sites is a major headache for the monitors as well as the clinical project managers, as it is an essential document, and having an incomplete delegation of authority log is a protocol deviation, and it must be completed every time a new team member starts or ends on a study. And then PI also must approve an initial every time. This pain point is eliminated completely with the electronic delegation of authority log. Now, the project managers and the regulatory coordinators can create and assign roles and responsibilities, copy these duties from one user to another. I also, as a project manager, can then route it for signatures via the system, electronic signatures, to all the team members, and it can be tracked in real time. At any point of time, I can convert this to the PDF and then again upload directly into the eTMF. These all processes increase efficiency significantly. We'll move to the next slide. Okay, so this brings us to the trend number 3 that I'm going to discuss, is where we touch upon the areas where the manual processes and trackers are eliminated and made less labor intensive. So what are these areas where we actually apply the technology? What I use the flexibility of the platform to set up all kinds of lists and views. I organize my data using easy to use lists and filters, and then I also create all the task lists within the milestones, and even create small alerts within the system, or you can also have email alert or notification when these tasks are assigned to a study team member. Now, study team members can also create various reports and dashboards quickly, whether you want to see the number of subjects which are enrolled for a particular study, or across the sites for the entire study, or the number of deviations or the adverse events. And my team members and I have also subscribed to the reports and dashboards and received these directly in my inbox at the time of my choosing. In all, the technology is immensely helping the clinical team in increasing the efficiency, whether it's study startup and planning, study conduct, or the closeout activities. We also have additional feature mentioned there is chatter, where I do not need a separate system to communicate with other team members. I can communicate within the CTMS system with the current systems. With this, I think I'll end my discussion on the trend and hand over to my colleague Joshi to go through the rest of presentation.
Thanks a lot, Rishabh. So we'd like to give the audience just some of the benefits that we've seen working with our customers, the benefits of using the platform, the Salesforce platform. So as most of you know, Salesforce is a pretty well adopted and reputable platform in all verticals and is commonly used in the healthcare and life sciences space. It's been used to enhance customer engagement in the realm of sales, marketing, and even the commercial side of the business. And we chose this platform because of its flexibility, scalability, credibility, and security. Flexibility and configurability of the platform allows you to cater to different variations across clinical trials. For example, a sponsor may be running various studies across, let's say, different therapeutic areas or studies across various phases, right? So depending on these variations, requirements can vary and can easily be handled by the flexibility on the Salesforce platform. Scalability offers you to easily grow with the platform, and tight and robust security allows your data to be secure on the safe and secure cloud platform. Basically, we have taken a look at all of the industry challenges, the common ones and the ones faced by our customers, and have built an all-in-one clinical trial management platform to address these. We chose the Salesforce platform because, like I mentioned before, it provides flexibility, the scalability, credibility, and really robust security features. As you may know, clinical trials, like I mentioned, have different types of variations in them, whether they are early phase, late phase, or post-market studies. The variations exist. Right, so using the platform's process and form builder, you can create automatic workflows, tasks, and assignments based on set defined criteria. Depending on what type of study you're working on, maybe it's an oncology study, or maybe it's a diagnostic in vitro trial, these workflows can be leveraged to help you in multiple scenarios. These solutions are also compatible with on multiple devices as well. How the solution offers scalability: since the platform is cloud-based, you can easily scale as your organization grows, as well as your trial landscape changes. It's safe and easy to store data on the cloud, even if you're running trials in the European Union, Asia, or anywhere in the world. If you're conducting international trials, the system can handle multiple languages and currencies as well. And these are the reasons we found that it's simple, fast, and secure to sustain your growth on the platform. These are some of the current partners we work and collaborate with. As you can see from the logos, we work with all types of organizations in the clinical research ecosystem, spanning from small to mid to large sponsors, as well as small to mid to large CROs. We do also work with core labs, academic institutions, and hospitals as well. And just to give you an example, one of the large medical device manufacturers we work with were able to get really rid of much of their manual Excel sheets and paperwork to streamline their clin operations. And they use platform capabilities that the platform offers to centralize their data in one place, making it easily accessible to multiple users across various departments. The template-based approach, which you'll see in the product demonstration just in a bit, that Rishabh also alluded to, really saved study managers time from manual creating of worksheets from scratch every time a study started up. So this is just an example of how the platform can be powerful to help you digitize and streamline some of your processes that you have in place already. Now over to the product demonstration, and I'll show you some of the features that we have discussed and Rishabh has been mentioning. So this is my home screen. So as a study manager, I would log into this to the system, and I would be taken here to the home page. On the top is my navigation bar, so I can access quickly different things from this, different data areas from the system. From the tab, by clicking on the accounts, I can quickly access the accounts. By clicking on the contacts, I can quickly access the contacts, studies, the studies, and then so on and so forth. On the top is my global search. If I want to quickly find something in the system, maybe I forgot where it is, maybe it's a study page or a document or a subject record, I can quickly type in that subject number or that study keyword, and the system will direct me where to find that piece of data. On the right, if I'm a user, I have some user preferences, such as if I forgot my password or if I want to change my date or time format, I can do so here. If I'm an admin, I have some functionality here available for me as an admin as well. In the center of my screen is a dashboard. As a monitor, I can see relevant dashboards as a monitor. As a eTMF manager, I can display relevant dashboards to the eTMF manager. Depending on the functional role of the user in the organization, I can see relevant metrics and dashboards to me on the home page. On the right side is a task list. So again, as a study manager, I can look at all my tasks that I have across my teams, any delegated tasks. I can even click more and see the full list of tasks across all my teams. I can choose to display really anything on the dashboard, any type of data. I can choose to display items to approve if there are any documents or budgets I need to approve, any templates I need to approve before study startup, or any events or tasks can also be stored here in the homepage as well. So if I go into the clinical studies tab, I'll see the list of clinical studies. So if I'm a sponsor, if I'm running multiple studies, I can store all of the studies on the screen. I can create different types of lists here to segment out my data. It's easy as clicking on this button, clicking the clone button. And let's say I want to create a list of all my USA studies. So I can say, studies in the US, and I can decide who gets to see that list. Is it just me? Is it going to be the entire organization, all the users, or is it going to be a select group of users? For now, I'll make it just everyone, so they have access to that list. And then all I need to do is add a filter telling the system just to show me the countries that are running this trial from the US, the trials that are being run in US. So then I can select USA, done, and save. Then the list will show me only the trials that are being run in the US. So like this, you can create on the fly list. I can even determine which columns I get to see here, all from this area here. I can view the screen in different modes. I can view it in a Kanban view. So if I want to set up a Kanban view, I can quickly set it up. Maybe I want to look at it by status. And then the system will show me that same tabular view, but in a Kanban view where I can move and view data in a different manner. I can also view it in a split view. I can view different studies here, making this easily manageable for me to go to studies to look at all the study data on the left. For now, I will toggle back to the table. And I'll drill into, actually, before I drill into a study, also to show you, you can also bring in nice reports and graphs in the context of the data that you're working on in the system. So we do have a separate reports and dashboards tab, which I'll show you at the end of the session. But Salesforce, the platform really allows you to bring in these reports throughout the context of the data you're working on. This is one example, and I'll show you more examples as we progress through the sessions. So this is so now I've clicked on the study page, and I see the study page here. At the top, I see the name of my study. Below that, I see some high-level information about the study. So I see the status of the study, the phase of the study, the therapeutic area, estimated site and subject enrollment numbers. At the top, I see some buttons. Our system, and before I move on, just something to let the audience know, the platform here that you're seeing is as I mentioned, is controlled, and you can control things by security, which means that these fields or these attributes here you're seeing, or these buttons even, security can control these buttons. So you can determine as an admin who gets to see these buttons, who gets to see specific fields. You can also restrict users from viewing specific types of data, all through the security features that the platform offers. Below this is a ribbon or a chevron that gives me the status of the study visually. So right now I can see that it's in the startup phase. And then below that, I see different sections. So these are different sections pertaining to the study. So for example, I can see the details of the study. I can see the planning related activities for this study here. I can see the visit plan or visit schedule for the study here. I can see the financials for the study. So all the budgets and the payments and the invoices and any receivables I can view here, and so on and so forth. Before I dive down into this page, on the right side is the collaboration center, the activity center, where you can actually, while you're working on the study info, for example, if something comes into mind or you have a to-do item, you can immediately take that off by emailing someone from the system, creating a new event, creating a task, or creating a reminder for yourself to call someone at the end of the day. You can also use the chatter feature, as Rishabh mentioned before. I can say, let's say I tag Christine, please take a look at the inclusion exclusion criteria for this study. I share, and then Christine, if she's in the system, she will get a notification, or if she's not in the system, she can also view her email, click a link, and be directed to this page to view the IE criteria. You can also store notes, and you can also store files. Here are some of the details for the study you can capture: protocol date, protocol number, the versions of the protocol, study details, enrollment information and key dates, outcome measures, eligibility criteria, and so on and so forth. In the planning section, this is where you can store all the milestones and tasks related to this study or this project. And this is an example of how our system is template based. So you create these milestones once as a standard milestone template, and you can use that same template for multiple studies or multiple scenarios. So that flexibility is there for you, and that kind of saves you the time of manually creating those milestones at the study level every time you have a new study starting up. Scrolling through this, you can store your study team members here, your regulatory submission checklist, your different protocol versions, if you're maintaining multiple arms or cohorts in your study, the trial contacts, and also if you're running the study in multiple countries or regions, you can store that information here as well. The visit plan is where you can create the visit plan or schedule of activities. I already have it open in a different tab here. So as you can see, the system walks you through 3 or 4 easy steps to create this visit plan automatically. You create the visits, create the procedures, and the system builds this automatically. Go back to the study page. Then you have your financials here. So in the financials, like I mentioned, you can find all of your financial information for this study. So I do have a budget open here. If I open a budget, this is the study budget. This is where you can see what you're budgeting at for the study level. You can see all of your expense or line items, expense buckets or line items at the top here. So you can see your data management and biostats bucket, your DSMB fees, your investigator grant, which is nothing but the roll up of all of your site budgets, your investigator meeting, your monitoring, project management. And you can really budget at any level you want. And all of these are maintained through a budget template or a rate card. As you can see, this budget has a budget template attached, which means that you create this rate card with your negotiated rates with your CRO or your sites or your sponsor, depending on who you are using the system. And you can use that same rate card or budget template for multiple studies as a baseline template. And then of course, at the study level, you can manually change the cost per unit, number of units per unit as you need for each line item. Once you create the budget, you can also you can submit this for approval. If you have an approval process to approve your budget, you can route this through approval. And you can also generate an Excel version of your budget by clicking a button, or you can also generate a PDF as well. I'll show you the PDF. It looks like this. And this you can use, just for reference purposes, or for a presentation, or if you want to circulate it offline somewhere, you can use this for that. You can also expose this through different portals for your external users as well. Moving back to the study page, we have several other subtabs here. I'm not going to go into all of them due to the interest of time. But if I go to the startup, we can maintain our startup features here. Here's another example of how you can store a report or display reports and dashboards in the context of what you're working on. I can view all my feasibility reports here. All my study startup documents I can view here as well. And to send a feasibility survey, all I need to do is click Site Feasibility. Then I can choose an account. Click Next, choose a contact or contacts, and I want to send the survey to. Click Next, and then the system spits out a nice email preview in form of that's derived by a template that's set up in the system once. As you can see, all this information gets pulled from the study details page. Click Next. And then the user Rose, who I sent it to, or the PI of the site, will get that email. So if I go to the email and open up as Rose, I'll open up this email. And I'll see this survey here. Let me zoom out so you can see a bit more of my screen. I'll click here. And then as Rose, I can view these details here and then just type in my email. And then I see the survey here. So I can decide what types of tabs, what type of content I want to create in the survey for Rose to take. You can even determine what type of response types. If there's going to be a text field, or if there's going to be a yes or no response, you can determine how you set that survey up, all template based. And you can use that same survey for multiple, that baseline for multiple sites as you send out the survey. And of course, all of that data gets recorded back into the system. And that would be right underneath this graph. So now if I go into the clinical sites, I see the list of all of my clinical sites that this trial is that this trial has. I can look at all my sites in this visual graphic here. I can look at the sum of enrolled. I can look at where my sites are located. If it's international study, I can also scroll down and see a list of all my sites in a tabular view. I already have a site open here. So if I go to the site, let me go to a different site. So here is a site page, similarly laid out as the study page, except the site information, obviously. So I've had the site name at the top, underneath at the site number, who is the PI, who are the contacts in terms of my PI, CRC, CRA, study, city. I can display more information if I need, and I have some useful buttons at the top. If I scroll down, this is another example of how I can display reports throughout the context of my data. I can store general information, assignments here. So the PI's email, name, contact information here. And also the key milestone dates. So planned site identification date, planned ISF and actual binder ship date, planned and actual IRB approval date, and whatever dates you want to track as a key milestone date at the site level, you can pull this in. You can store here. And some of these dates, if you have already invested in an EDC and you're using an EDC right now, some of this data and the dates can be pulled through integration from an EDC into this, so you can use the system really as a centralized platform for your data. For example, these numbers can be pulled in from EDC as well. And essential document status. Here is the system is basically telling you the status of the essential document collection at this site. So it's giving you high level information here. You can also track in key risk indicators. So staying in the same vein as the essential document status, if I scroll back up and I'm going to skip over the financial one for now and just come back into it just for a second. If I go into the startup section, well, let me take a different route. Let me actually touch upon the site budget here. So if we go, so that's this details page of the site. Now, if I go to the site budget, I showed you the study budget. You can also maintain a site budget here. Now, what's neat about the site budget is the system allows you to budget according to the visit plan that you created. All you need to do is tell the system that the budget line item is a visit-based line item. And you can see that the visit plan that was created minutes ago can be used to budget as well. So you can budget per procedure or per visit, depending on what you have negotiated with your partners. Right, so let me close that one out. Now let me resume to the startup. So here in the startup section is where you can see all of the startup features. So for example, you can maintain your team, your milestones, so on and so forth. So here you have in the top, you have the site team members. You can determine what your site team members are here by just adding a new site team member. And also when you add a new site team member, you can add their name, their status, their role, the study responsibility, their start date, end date, and their email. And you can basically capture whatever you like at the system level. And then when you come and click the button here, the system automatically generates the site team delegation log. So all you needed to do is add those site team members. If you modify a role or a responsibility, or if someone leaves or you switch roles, the system will dynamically render that into this nice screen here. Of course, the system also logs all the changes that you do at the site team, at the site level as well. And then not only that, you can then send this. So if you're initiating this to the sites as a sponsor for them to circulate this, you can do that. Or if you're the PI working on this through the Investigator Portal, you can also dish this out to your site teams and they can sign this electronically in the system as well. Once this is signed, you can generate a PDF with the click of a button at any time, and then you can log that PDF or that finished, signed, executed DOA log into the eTMF with just a click of a button. Scrolling down in the startup page, just to show you what we have here, feasibility reports can be stored, and then we have essential documents. So here here the system is showing you the list of the statuses of the essential documents. So if I click view all, you can see the list of all of the essential documents that I need to collect for the site and the status of them. If I drill into one, you can see the metadata for this document. Let me actually hide this here. Thank you. And once I fulfill the metadata out, I can upload the document here, send it for approval. And once it all looks good, I can even upload this document right into the eTMF from here. This is an example of how the eTMF you're about to see in the CTMS is connected. So we kind of leverage and expose the eTMF features throughout the system where it makes the user's life easier. So then you can decide which folder the CTA goes into, select the folder, click a button or two, and then that document gets stored in the eTMF. Speaking about the eTMF, I have the eTMF open here. So we have our eTMF here. So here we have a search box. You can search across documents in the eTMF. And on the left side, I see all my study binders. So if I collapse the study here, I can see 4 levels underneath I have a CAFTOR study. I see the holding area, study, country, and site level. Our system does allow you to create custom folder structures, as well as use the out-of-the-box DIA, latest DIA structure or the latest TMF reference model by DIA. So as you can see, the study level has a DIA structure. If I open to the country level, it has a DIA, it has the countries underneath that, which lives the DIA structure. if I open the site level, has all my sites underneath that DDIA structure. And this is an example. This is typically what we recommend for sponsors for best practices. But of course, every study, every trial is different, and our system accommodates that for those flexibilities as well. And you don't have to stay rigid, right? In those cases. So, and another feature here that makes the collaboration easy between sponsors and sites and CROs and sites as well is that you can expose this holding area to the sites, to the Investigator Portal, where Investigator Portal can have access just to the holding area, where they can drop documents, sponsor can grab those, apply their QC process, and then move it to the eTMFs. Right? We also have drag and drop features here that you can use. And once you drag and drop the document will live here. For example, look at a different folder, and you can even edit some of that metadata from the screen right here. You can perform some quick actions as preview, sending email, downloading. If you want to connect it to a printer or a scanner, you can also do that as well. And then I'll open one of the documents in a separate page to show you how the metadata page looks. So if I open up a document in a separate page, I see the high-level information of the document up on the top. I see the status in a visual way here. And then underneath that, I see the preview on the left side. Let me zoom out a bit here. The preview on the left side, and on the right side, I see the metadata of the document. So this off the bat gives the ability for the users to enter data for that document side by side while looking at the document. This will eliminate a lot of errors while the eTMF manager or the coordinator is entering that data here. So you have you can capture the different data here, and we also have the automatic QC checks as well in our eTMF. For example, if you click save, you're marked as required, the system won't allow you to save. So you can set these kind of automatic checks in the system, allowing for a better quality data and processes in your organization, right? Now I click save, cancel here. And there's a lot of other features as well. We don't have time to go over those, but some of the features are, you can automatically name the document based on where you move it. You can move it into the eTMF from here. Right, suppose it's in the holding area, and then based on where you move it, the system does take that specific naming convention that you specify. And so a lot of these features are intended to make the eTMF manager's life easier performing day-to-day operations. Let me go back to the site level. And one thing I'd just like to show is, I know I went onto the eTMF, but showed you the essential document. You can also generate an essential document checklist as well, just to show you as well. Quick, nice PDF giving you the quick status of your documents for that site. Right. So now going over, moving to the next one here. So the monitoring tab here, I can look at all of my monitoring activities that are happening. So if I scroll back maybe the previous months, I can see all the visits that have taken place. I can even add a new upcoming visit, for example, by clicking on the calendar and adding a visit. If I scroll down, I can see further reports, any monitoring reports for this site that have been created or are in progress. If I click into one of the site monitoring visits, I can see all the details of the scheduled visit. Then as a CRA, I can come in here on the right side, choose a template. Let's say I want to send in my confirmation letter to the PI of the site saying that I'm arriving. You can also edit this. The CRA can edit this if they want, and then send this email to the PI. So all of the pre-visit activities in terms of monitoring visits can be handled in one screen by the CRA or the monitor. You send the confirmation letter. And then any reports, if there's already a report that's been created, you can find it here. If there's no report, the user can come and click launch new report. And then here is the report, the monitoring actual report. So this is what the CRA or the monitor can actually, they can take their tablets and they can perform, they can answer these questions, this content during the visit through their tablets or through their laptop while the visit is going on, right? Or, they can also transcribe it later as well. That's also an option, however the process works for each individual sponsor, right? And then you have, so this is the report. You can set these up the way you want. These are all sections and tab. All these questions and these sections are controlled by a template. So you can decide what type of, IMV template that you want, and you can reuse that same IMV template for different cases or different studies as a base template. Again, they're all point and click. You don't need any code or anything like that to create these templates. You can determine what type of response type there are, yes or no, or multiple choice, or pick list or free text. You can even add different types of records. If you're monitoring informed consents, you can bring those informed consent records into the monitoring visit report. Once you fill out the report, you can also submit this for approval through an approval process to your reviewers. And the reviewers can come in here and add a comment on each question. As you can see, this has already completed this report, right? But you can add a comment as a reviewer. I can add a comment against each question, or I can, if I want to simply, add comments for the section, I can also do that as well. And it's just there's multiple things here that make it easier for the monitor, such as they can quickly navigate question to question based on which question has a comment. So they can kind of save time instead of going through every question, seeing which has a comment. Once they finish this report, they can then submit this. Once it's gone through the approval process, they can route this to signature from the system and then perform their post-visit activities, such as setting up the follow-up letter. You can send the follow-up letter here by the same way you did the confirmation letter. I'll choose my follow-up letter template. Again, all this is template based, like I mentioned. And as you can see, the system will bring in any follow-up items or protocol deviations or whatever I have in my template automatically. These come in, these flow in from the template and from the system. And you can send that, and then your site will get that email once you send it from the system. So I'll send it just to show you, right? If I send it to myself, the system logs that the email was sent, and I can even then, as my last action item, generate the PDF and then upload it to the ETMF. Click of a button. So that entire monitoring workflow is there intended to save time for the monitors when they're pre-visit, during the visit, and also post-visit activities. I'll close this out and I'll go back to the site level. Here, so we're not going to go over every sub-tab here, but you can store the enrollment information here against the site. And you can also store all the subjects here. You can track all the subjects that are partaking part of the study for this site. All the ECRFs can also be tracked here. So if I scroll down, you can see all the subjects, not only the subjects, but all the visits that are happening for those subjects. If I'll drill down into one subject, I open the subject record. And here I can see the subject level information at the top. And then beneath that, I see the status, the chevron of the subject. And then I can see different sections of the subject. For example, I can see the details, the demographics. I can view the calendar for the subject, any upcoming visits that are happening, any subject visits, any procedures that are happening for that subject, and then the visit plan. So when this subject gets enrolled into the study, if you remember minutes ago, I created that visit plan. That visit plan is attached to that study. So once this subject gets enrolled to that study with that visit plan automatically gets rendered here. So, the manager can see, or the coordinator can see at one given glance what visits or procedures or forms that need to be filled out for that subject. All the informed consents can be viewed here. All the ECRF for this study can be viewed here for the subject. Any other vital signs, medical history can be viewed here. You can also capture the adverse events and protocol deviations against the subject record here directly as well. Some of you may also already be using an EDC, so where you already capture all the subject information and adverse events and protocol deviations separately. So you can, in that case, if you choose to use a CTMS system, you can actually bring those adverse events and protocol deviations automatically through integration. So then you'll have that data here to report on and have one centralized place. And a couple other things here. So we have, our Investigator Portal. So Investigator Portal really allows your sites to use the system as well. So they can, it's basically an extension of the system to your external partners or users. So they can have limited access, but secured access. So they can, like I was saying in the beginning, you can give them access to drop documents in the holding area of the ISF or the ETMF. You can give them access, obviously in an EDC situation to enter data into an EDC. The coordinators can enter data right into the EDC by looking at the subject record, right? They can also view the statuses of the essential document checklists here. So the portal gives basically access to the site users and allows, it's all the same database. It's just extended in a different, through a portal for your sites to use. And any data that's captured here or modified here can be reflected in the internal view and so on, and back and forth as well. So there's no, manual work of sharing a document or sharing, data manually. It's all done in real time. And last but not the least, we have several dashboards. So let me close some of these here so I have more space. There you go. So we have dashboards where all the data comes together. So we send a feasibility survey. As you can see, this feasibility survey metrics are captured here in terms of a dashboard. You can also filter by different studies to see where you are at in the feasibility stage across your studies. You can filter by sites as well. And basically, this is nothing but a report of all of your questions in the survey. So identifying, projected enrollment per site per month, available backup generators at sites if that's a requirement for your study, GCP certification status for the site. So all of these can be monitored through reports and dashboards. You can see an ETMF dashboard. Document expiring in next 10 days. Essential document status by sites, document status by site. I can view a site monitoring dashboard. I can view an EDC dashboard. So again, if you're using EDC, you can integrate with your EDC and capture that information here to report on. So it talks to your payments, it talks to your study information, so everything talks together in one platform. You can blow this up and present this for internal purposes for a presentation. You can also download these into images and use them for a PowerPoint presentation or anything like that. You can also choose to download this as an image completely, this entire dashboard. And you can also choose to subscribe to these dashboards. You can click subscribe, determine the frequency of the subscription. So let's say Monday and Friday at 8 a.m. in the morning. I can decide who gets this subscription. So whoever gets this subscription would get an email with the image of this dashboard on their email without having to log into the system. So these are some of the ways, that we have seen through our experiences and the various implementations and customers that we have worked with, that the platform can really be leveraged to make day-to-day operations more efficient. And that's all for the product demonstration. Christine, I'll turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joshi and Rishabh, for that presentation. We actually have quite a few questions to get through today. Our first one is coming from an audience member. Is your solution only geared towards sponsors?
Hi, thanks, Christine. I'll take that. The short answer would be no. The system serves sponsors, sites, CROs, as well as the core labs and the diagnostic labs, including the central labs. The use of system obviously varies a bit for each stakeholder, like CTMS and ETMF is mainly for sponsors and CROs. Investigator Portal is for sites, and then we have a complete human biosample management system or a solution that assists the diagnostic labs. Hope this answers the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our next question, how do you set up access for coordinators and monitors in the system, and how do you control what users see?
Yeah, I can take that question, Christine. Yeah, it's a good question. So because the solution is built on the platform, we leverage its world-class and robust security, really, which allows us to set up multiple roles for coordinators. It could be monitors, study managers, whatever roles you want. And you can decide who gets to see what tabs, buttons, and data through the platform security features. You can even provide read-only access to users where needed.
Excellent. So does that mean if I log in as a nurse, I'm going to see different things than if a monitor logs in?
That's right. Yeah. If you log in as a nurse, you'll see data that only you need to see, and the monitor would see all the data and all the functionalities that the monitor needs to perform his or her day-to-day activity.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Great. Okay. So our next question. Today you showed us you have a CTMS and eTMF solution. Do I need to implement both of these at once, or can I choose to do them separately?
Yeah, I can take this one, Christine. It's a good question. So you don't. In short, you can choose to implement one module at a time, or you can implement multiple modules at once. So for example, you can implement CTMS first, then you can choose to scale and implement eTMF. Basically, our modules are like options in a buffet. You can choose what you want to use, whether it's just one module or multiple. And as you scale, we can grow with you and help you digitize and streamline any area of your clinical operations as well.
Oh, fantastic. Although I always choose too many things at the buffet, so it might not be good for me. All right, excellent. Okay. Our next question, can you run and manage international trials using the CTMS? And is your system compliant with EU regulations? Great question.
That is a great question, Christine. Yes, we currently have clients across the globe who are using the system. Our system is also compliant with EU regulations. As most of us know, the clinical trial regulations is set to replace the clinical trial directive. It comes into application at the end of January 2022. Also, one of the main features of the new regulation is the safety. The EU is restructuring the process for safety reporting, and our safety solution offers fully integrated AE, SAE tracking and reporting for single or multi-country studies. We are present globally and understand the clinical landscape. Many of the requirements of the new clinical trial regulations are shared across the regulatory bodies, and cloud-based systems are already compatible with these. And with our experience and knowledge, it will be hugely eased for sponsors to follow these new regulations as well. And we are also following the current CTD, which is Clinical Trial Directive, as well as the GDPR related to data privacy. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rishabh. All right, our next question. How easy is it to integrate this system with EDCs, EMRs, and others? Can data be imported into the system manually as well? Great question.
Yeah, I can take that question. Yeah, it's a good question. So a platform comes with the readily available open API, which makes it really easy and really fluid to integrate to external systems. We do it quite often. We actually, have done that multiple times, have integrated with multiple systems at various occasions. Not only that, you can also import data as well. So you can create data in 3 different ways, essentially. You can create it manually, one record at a time. You can integrate the data, or you can upload data in bulk, and that would be through the import feature.
Fabulous. Okay, our next question is all about upgrades. How often do you upgrade your product?
Yep, Salesforce releases 3 updates in a single year, and we also follow the same cadence. And these updates include, new enhancements, fixes, new features, and every release we go through, it gets fully validated as well for its intended use. So 3 times a year to be short. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's very helpful. Okay, our next question. Salesforce has governor limits. With growing data, how does the application scale, taking into consideration these governor limits, excuse me?
Yep, absolutely. That's a great question. So, as you know, when you purchase the platform, you get a certain set of data, right? A storage of data. As you scale and you grow your company, you add more users into the system, each user you add, with that comes additional data automatically. On top of that, if you need more data, for example, if you're storing large files or very, very large documents, and you need to upgrade data, you can always purchase data and buy additional storage as well if it's needed.
Fantastic. We have just a couple more here. How often, from your experience in working with various types of trials, what is the #1 benefit of using a platform like CloudBiz and Salesforce to run your clinical operations?
I can take that. So it is actually, Christian, difficult to point out the #1 benefit, but if I have to choose one, I would say the system significantly reduces the total trial time and hence decreases the cost. There are obviously other benefits, simplifies the process, increases the data quality. But for me, the most important #1 would be the total trial time that is decreased.
So just that increased efficiency helps decrease the overall trial time?
Exactly, as we discussed on the trends, exactly. Yeah.
Fabulous. All right, a couple more. The charts on the study page, for example, are those configurable? And how about generating PDF reports?
Yeah, I'll take that question. Yeah, they are configurable. You can create those reports, whatever reports or dashboards you want, and bring those reports and dashboards into the study or site page or any other page you want in the system. That's the first answer. And the second question, if you can remind me again, Christine.
Sure, no problem. How about generating PDF reports?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can. So we have, you can generate PDF reports. So we have it, in the system out of the box and many of the places where you can click a button and generate the reports. You can also control in the system what fields you want in those reports. Those are also flexible and configurable as well.
Fabulous. We actually have a great question here. It's asking a little bit about cloud technology in general and other options except Salesforce. So other than Salesforce, which cloud platform can we use to build the CTMS solutions, and what drawbacks are there in those platforms compared to Salesforce?
Yeah, I'll take that question. So that's a good question. So our platform is 100% native to the Salesforce platform, Salesforce Cloud. So you get both together. You can't use it without each other. They're intertwined. So to use it, the cloud-based CTMS, which is built on Salesforce, you'll need a base Salesforce license. That's the first answer there. It's I'm not going to go into comparing different clouds on the call, right? But again, just to reiterate the benefits of the Salesforce Cloud, it's really like we said multiple times. It's very user friendly. One of the most, I would say, top 3 things. One of the most things I would like to point out is, I guess, it's really easy to use from a user perspective. It's easy to use because it's low code, and all you need to really learn is point and click, drag and drop. And with that, you can do a lot of things in the system. So in that way, it's really user friendly, easy for new users to learn the system. It's also very secure because many big organizations are using the platform in many ways, not just this vertical, but other verticals as well. Patient data can be stored without any compliance or privacy issues. So those are the benefits that I would like to highlight, Christine.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Yeah. We have time for just one more quick one. Do you guys also provide the ability to send feasibility surveys to sites directly from the system?
I can take that. Actually, I have been doing this. So yes, we do provide the ability to send the feasibility surveys, and it's a great feature. Actually, you can send the feasibility surveys to any number of sites. You can even record the responses and convert those into the spreadsheet where you can compare those responses and then use it to evaluate the performance and then finally ultimately select the sites. Also, other feature that comes with the feasibility is not only to the sites. We can also send the feasibilities for that study, for a particular study. You can say to a core lab, as an example, if you want to capture their attributes for the equipment, or to the diagnostic labs. All those are qualified before the start of the study, and our system sends those feasibility surveys based on the need.
Fantastic, Rishabh. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, that's all we have time for today. I'm sorry to those who submitted some last-minute questions. We didn't quite get to them, but we are offering some one-on-one sessions to answer any of those lingering questions and to continue our discussion. We're also planning on doing more of these sessions going forward, so please keep your eye out for future events. Again, thanks for being here with us today. We really enjoyed this. Hope you found some value in it as well. If you'd like to learn more or see any other solutions or even just say hi, you can get in touch with us at cloudbiz.com or message us here on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.